I believe that we all struggle with something. I don't think there's anyone that doesn't have struggles. No matter if you're wealthy or if you're poor, if you're in a relationship or if you're single, if you have friends or if you have no friends, if you have a good paying job or if you feel like you're not getting paid enough, we all have our own problems. We all have something that we're dealing with. And we're just trying to get through it. And we want things to get better. I think we're all trying to get to a place where we're happy. We all want to be happy. And I believe that there's 4 main components that determines your happiness. The job that you get, the relationship that you're in, the friends that you have, and your health. I believe that most people don't like the job that they're working at. And the things that they're passionate about, they can't make money off of it. So they can't live off of it. So they feel like they're forced into working a job that they don't like, just to get by, just to survive. But regardless of the job that you work at, whether it's a high-paying job or a low-paying job, whether you work in an office or a restaurant or in retail, there's going to be struggles and things that you're not satisfied with, regardless of where you work. But it's about choosing what's better out of all your options. What's going to maximize happiness. The problem with working in a restaurant or at a retail job is you don't get any benefits, because most of the time you won't get full-time hours. They'll only give you part-time hours, and you most likely have to work holidays and weekends. And sometimes people that work in the restaurant work from day to night, and basically their whole day is over. They just wake up, go to work, and when they come home it's nighttime and they have to go to sleep. And they wake up doing that over and over again for years until they retire. And when you're working these jobs, you don't have a retirement plan. There's no 401k. So when you work at these jobs, not only are you not getting paid well, you might never be able to retire because there is no retirement plan. And most of the time, you're just living from paycheck to paycheck. So you can't even save up enough to retire. You might have to work for the rest of your life. It's much better to choose to work in an office job, because regardless of where you work, it's going to be difficult. So you might as well pick the best choice out of all the options that you have. Because at least in an office job or a 9 to 5, you get benefits. You're off on the weekends. You get holidays off. You get sick days. And you get paid vacations. And you get a retirement plan. There's a lot of benefits to working a 9 to 5 or an office job. And because you work from 9 to 5, when you get off of work, you still have the whole day ahead of you. You can still spend time with family. You can still go somewhere to have fun. You can still hang out with friends. And you know your schedule. And it's much easier to plan around your work schedule. When you work at a restaurant or in retail, your work schedule changes every week. You might be working opening. You might be working closing. You might have to work from day to night. You don't really know what your work schedule is or when you have to go to work until that week. So it's much harder to plan around your work schedule. It's hard to plan ahead. And you don't get weekends off to have fun, to relax, to hang out with friends and family. And sometimes when you work in a restaurant or in retail, you have to work on Christmas. There is no holiday off. And most of the time, the only ones that really get benefits when they work in a restaurant or in retail is if they're a manager. Most of the time, they won't give you full-time hours, so they don't have to give you benefits. They'll intentionally give you under a certain amount of hours to keep you as a part-time worker, so they don't have to offer you benefits. But sometimes we don't really have a choice. Sometimes we don't have the resume or the experience to qualify for a better job. But it's about moving in the right direction. Perhaps you have to work in a restaurant or at retail for now, but it doesn't have to be forever. Sometimes you do have to work your way up, but we have to choose to work our way up. And sometimes we do have to struggle a little bit more at the beginning. It's up to us to make the right decisions. We're gonna struggle no matter what, but we can choose our struggles. We can choose to have better struggles. It's much better to struggle working a 9 to 5 or in an office job than it is to struggle in a restaurant. Because a lot of times when you're working in a restaurant or in a retail job, you feel like there's no opportunities for growth. You feel stagnant. You feel like you're stuck. Life is really about picking our struggles, choosing what we want to struggle with. Because you can't live a life without struggles. But we can choose to work on having a better life. Choose to have a better struggle, something that we want to deal with. When it comes to relationships, we can choose to be in a good relationship or a toxic relationship. We can choose to see red flags and move on, or ignore them and stay miserable. But regardless of the relationship that you get into, we're all gonna have relationship problems. But it's more about what type of relationship problems do you want to have? Do you want to be in a healthy relationship that has a little bit of arguments, a little bit of disagreements, things that you can work through? Or do you want to be in a toxic relationship where the person just lies to you, manipulates you, and cheats on you, and y'all argue about everything? You're in a relationship with someone that you're not compatible with. And a lot of people do choose to stay in a bad relationship. It's not really about not having any relationship problems. It's about choosing to be in the right relationship and having problems that you don't mind having, problems that you can work through, being with someone that you truly want to be with for the rest of your life. Not just to be in a relationship, not to just get married, just to get married, just to show off how beautiful your wedding was when you're not even happy about your marriage. You have to be careful who you marry, because from that one decision will come 90% of your happiness or misery. I think what most people fear, and they don't even know that they fear it, is marrying the wrong person, because that can really mess up your life. That can cause a lifetime of stress, and you won't be happy. A lot of our unhappiness stems from making bad decisions, from ignoring red flags, or knowing it's a bad decision but making it anyways because it makes us happy in the short term. A lot of us, we think short term rather than long term. We think based off of how we feel at that moment, not how we feel overall or how we're going to feel in the future. We based our decisions off of emotions rather than logic. A lot of people know they're making a bad decision or in a toxic relationship, but they stay in it anyways. And they'll make excuses to why it's a good relationship or a good decision, and not really thinking about the consequences, the long term. They think about short-term happiness rather than long-term happiness. But we can choose to be in a better relationship, and that sometimes means to stay single for a little bit longer, because to find a good relationship, to find someone that you're compatible with, is going to be a long process. It's going to be a difficult process, because you have to avoid all the toxic relationships, all the bad relationships. But it's better to be single and look for a healthy relationship than rushing into a bad relationship and rushing into marriage and being unhappy for the rest of your life. We can choose to be in a better relationship. And when it comes to friends, we can choose to surround ourselves with good people and good influences, because that will influence us to make better decisions. We act like the people that we hang around with, and we're influenced by the people we hang around with. And a part of our happiness is having good friends, being around people that we truly care about and people that truly care about us. And I feel like a lot of us, we make the mistake of being around people that we want to impress, that we don't need to impress. And some people make really bad decisions just to impress others, sacrificing their future and their happiness for someone's validation. Someone that won't even look at them when they're down. Someone that won't even care about them when they're down. We have to choose to put our attention in things that truly matter. And we can choose to hang around good people and good influences and have good friends. And we can choose to be healthy or unhealthy. Health is the most important thing that a lot of us ignore. We need health to feel good, to be healthy enough to work and provide for our family. And a lot of times, just by being healthy, you save a lot of money, because medical bills are very expensive. Health is your wealth. And for wealthy people, it means to stay healthy enough to be able to live long enough to enjoy their wealth, to enjoy their life. And for the average person, being healthy means less medical bills, because it's expensive to go to the hospital or to see a doctor or to get treatment. And by staying healthy, you save a lot of money, and you'll enjoy life a lot more when you're healthy, because you can get up, run around, go to places you want to go to without having to worry about your health. And just being healthy enough to be able to work and provide for your family. Life is really about having the least amount of worries, the least amount of struggles. No matter what, we'll struggle with something, but it's about working towards having less struggles and choosing what we struggle with by making better decisions. Sometimes we can't control our circumstances, but we can make things better. We can improve our situation, and we have to work towards a better life. That's something that we can choose to do. No matter what we struggle with, we can always make it better. We just have to be persistent and be consistent, and the life that we want to live will become a reality.